What up, what up? This is Finance, Fitness, and Folk, a channel where we discuss finance, a little bit of fitness, talk about some folk. So on today's episode, I'm going to discuss why men are not okay in 2024. So admin notes, thanks again to our subscribers to the channel. I endeavor to keep pushing the video out, give you leverage, the better it sells. So it's Friday. It's pretty hot out here. It's kind of another heat wave coming through DC, and I kind of rushed out the office to take my walk and actually try to get out here and do some exercise before it got too hot. But in the process of me doing that, I forgot my sweat rag that I normally take with me. So I'm actually my face is actually pretty sweaty right now, whatever. So excuse the look, but I'm going to push out this video, get this information out to you guys, because once again, it's another hot topic, and I want to make sure that I put this out here to the masses for folks to really understand what's going on. So let's get into it. So why do I say men are not okay in 2024? I think this has been going on for a while now, for the last couple of years, probably right before the pandemic, when social media started really booming. I think the pandemic definitely has convoluted a lot of things when it comes to this subject. And the pandemic is kind of like over to a certain degree. Like, COVID is still out there, but we're not required to mask up anymore. Things are kind of back to normal to a certain degree. But there's a lot of pressure that's been put on men over the last decade. And men as a whole, we're always going to be put under pressure because we're the ones that have the burden of responsibility when it comes to everything. Family, infrastructure of our society, all of that, right? But I think with the invention of social media and just the internet as a whole, and then all these falsehoods been pushed out there in the media, I think it really put men in a very, very deep, dark mind space where, a lot of men on this day are suicidal. A lot of young men feel like they're never going to measure up because they feel like the bar is set way too high for men. And I mean, it's all a lie, y'all. It really is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's society to a certain degree has definitely changed to a certain degree, but human nature has not changed. Humans are just humans. We're all the same, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way we think about things and how we go about things has not changed. Only society has changed, and societal norms have changed, meaning like, things are not the way they were, how they were back in the 60s, the 50s, the 40s, and even earlier than that, right? And that's called evolution. That's called, society just elevating to another level. But I think that the burden of performance on men has really put men in a very dark space, and I think that young men in particular have not been raised properly to navigate these things. And I'm a Gen Xer, so I can only say for myself that I'm kind of part of that. I really am, right? I've raised my boys to the best of my ability. Not necessarily shield them from social media, but let them know that, like, hey, the bar that's been set for folks has really not been fair. You get on Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat and all these other things, and you see women being laced up with all these things, and a lot of times it's a result of men buying these things for them. But the men that are buying these things for these women are a very small percentage, and for the most part, from what I can tell, most of them are my age or older. And basically the reason for that is because my generation was raised a lot different, right? We was out there as go-getters. We had to go out there and get it, right? There was no such thing as sitting around at the house and not doing for yourself as a man. At a very early age. I said it before in a previous video, right? When I turned 18, I was going to college, but I was still staying with my mom and my grandmother. And that bothered me a lot. That really did, Not to say that all of my peers was out the house at 18, but a lot of them joined the military, or they went to Job Corps. Maybe they had moved out of their parents' house and moved in with a cousin or something, whatever. Like, it was just one of those things back in them days where, like, when you stayed with your parents after 18, it started to be a huge problem. You know what I'm saying? Because we wanted to get out there. I've seen it where a lot of young men, teenagers. I got some nephews right now that they're like 15 years old, 15, 16 years old, and they're taking their sweet time to learn how to drive a car. Yo, at 15 years and 9 months, I was at the DMV taking my written learner's permit. I was out of there at 14 years old. My mom had me in a parking lot trying to drive around. Right, I was anxious to get into a car and start driving. Like that was a rite of passage. Like I was ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we have definitely raised a society of young men that do not have a lot of intestinal fortitude. They don't know how to transverse adversity. Adversity hits them and they fold very easily, like a paper bag. Right? And I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm saying this on a very serious note because these are the men that's supposed to be taking over society. They're supposed to be taking care of me when I get into old age. And as of right now, it's not looking too good, y'all. It really isn't, you know. But on a serious note with that, these things have really put men in a very depressive state. And you got a lot of men trying to take their own lives. They're going crazy. They're crashing out. I know crashing out is one of those terms that young men use right now. Crashing out meaning that, they're off the chain. They're going out here selling drugs, robbing people, stealing from people. It's a terrible thing. And, there's no easy solution to this. But one thing I will say is that for any man that's watching this video right now, whether you're young, middle-aged, or old, we all have to understand that the society is not going to save us. Women are not going to save us. We got to save ourselves. We got to put ourselves in position to be able to have intestinal fortitude and to fight back and to be able to navigate this thing called life, right? Life is not easy for men. And I think women really don't understand that, and they're not going to be able to understand it because they're not men, right? Just like men are not going to understand the woman experience, they're not going to understand the man experience. And the burden of performance on men can be very, very, very traumatizing for men. And society as a whole don't even want to hear about the trauma when it comes to men. They don't want to hear about your problems, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Society as a whole does not want to hear about your problems. Now, I'm not saying for you not to go to counseling. I'm not saying for you to seek counsel. I'm not saying that at all. Because mental health is real. It really is. I'm in counseling, right? But that's because of some of the things that I saw in war. And war is just not a pretty thing. You know what I'm saying? So I have PTSD, combat PTSD. That's what they term it. So that's one of the main reasons why I go to counseling, right? To navigate through those things. But even in doing that, I'm still able to hold a 9-to-5 job. I'm still able to run a business. I'm still able to take care of my wife, still able to take care of my kids, still able to take care of the household, still able to take care of a second job that I have, still able to take care of my mother-in-law. She's in a wheelchair. I have a lot of responsibilities on my plate, and I'm still pushing through. And young men that I see right now in this day and age, whatever, they couldn't even do half of the stuff I'm doing right now. And it's pretty sad because we as men need to be able to push through adversity. Nobody's gonna come save us. I said this in the previous video. The world does not owe men understanding. They just don't, And I'm not saying this to make men that are watching this video that are already depressed even more depressed. I'm just saying that as a society, as men, we need to police each other up. What I'm doing right now in this video is policing you. I'm policing you up. What I'm saying? Get off your tail. Stop feeling sorry for yourself, right? God has a purpose for you, because if he didn't, you wouldn't be here right now. I've seen plenty of videos over the last couple of years where folks have had near-death experiences, and there's a couple of themes when it comes to these things when I have watched these videos. There is an afterlife, there really is, But one of the themes that have really been put out there, and I think the Christian faith kind of frowns upon it, but it's reincarnation. We are entities. We are souls put in these bodies, right? And a lot of the themes that I've seen when I watch these videos is A lot of times we go up to the next realm, the next dimension, right? Whether you call it heaven or whatever the case may be, right? We choose to come back here. We choose the life that we want, right? As an entity up in that particular dimension, we come back and we actually choose the person we're going to be. We choose our parents. We choose the adversity we're going through, all of that. So in saying that, if we on the other side choose what we're going to be on this side, then what does that mean? That means that we chose to do these things for a purpose, to learn something, to be able to learn the human experience, right? And I know this may sound a little bit crazy and a little bit off the wall with people. You know, folks probably say, hey, find a fitness and folk, he going crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? But I really believe in this. I really do. And let's say what I'm saying is absolutely true. That means you chose to get fired. You chose to have yourself be divorced from your wife. You chose to have one of your children die before you died, right? You know what I'm saying? These are hard truths to realize, but your life is planned out. There's a lot of directions you can take. That's the reason why God gave us free will. So there's a lot of multiple scenarios that can happen. You know what I'm saying? If I turn left, I turn right, there's going to be a whole different path that I take, right? But for the most part, all of these different scenarios that can happen in life, these are things that are already chosen. So let's deal with it. Let's deal with the human experience. Let's deal with being men. I know for myself, I love being a man. I couldn't imagine being a woman. You know what I'm saying? The woman experience is a very easy experience, in my opinion. But I love the challenge. I love being a man. I love being in charge of things. I love being on top, right? We are the top tier as God and then man. That's how it works. You know what I'm saying? God pulled a rib out of Adam's side and made woman. So that means man was here before woman, right? You know, so God has a love for man that is beyond our comprehension. It really is. You know what I'm saying? So just understand that God loves you. He really does. He loves woman too, because he wouldn't have made a companion for a man if he didn't love woman. I'm just saying, like, you know, there's a relationship between man and God that is unparalleled. It really is, you know. So as being a man, we have to understand that, you know, even if you don't believe in a religion, even though you don't believe in God as a whole, you know, you was put on this earth for a purpose. And taking yourself out of here early is going to deny the world that purpose. It really is, right? So regardless of how hard you think life is right now, regardless of how much you feel like that you can't get over the hump, and you can't get to the next level, just understand that you was put here for a purpose, and we need to fight. Put your hands up, put your guard up. Let's fight our way through this thing, because there's purpose in your life. You have purpose. And the thing is what I learned a long time ago is that all the adversity and struggle you're going through right now is not for you. It's for somebody else, right? Whoever's seeing you going through struggle right now is possibly going to go through the same thing you're going through. And they're going to watch you get over on the other side. You know what I'm saying? They're going to watch you get on the other side. So if they watch you get on the other side and saw how you went through things, then what makes them think that they can't do the same thing? So what you're going through right now is not for you. It's for somebody else, right? And you can get through this. You can get on the other side. Just have faith. Have faith in yourself. Even if you don't have faith in God, have faith in yourself. I know for myself, I know that I can get over anything that hits my way, because I have faith in God. I know God can help me through these things. And I implore every man watching this video to get a relationship with God. Because one person I know is never going to fail you. It's the Lord. He's never going to fail you. Because he never failed. He can't lose. He's a winner. If you think you're a loser right now, on the street right now, homeless, don't got a job, lost your girlfriend, lost everything you had and everything, guess what? God has never left you. He's right there, right beside you. And God's a winner. So if God is a winner and he loves man, then what makes you? You're a winner too. You are made in God's image. God has conquered the world, right? So that means that you are a conqueror. You're not, you are the head, not the tail. You are more than a conqueror, right? So let's stop getting in this depressive state that the 2024 has put men in, because depression is not for us. We're not supposed to be depressed. We don't got time to be depressed. We got time to do work. We need to do work. So let's get out here and do this work, y'all. All right? So you want me to discuss a topic or a subject that's beneficial to the channel, email me at findingfitnessfolk@gmail.com. My email address is in the description below. Findingfitnessfolk, F, I'm gone.